Good evening, class. Today I'm going to talk about my oldest daughter, Jasmine, and how she impacted my life and changed me for the better. A little bit of background on before this, on myself. I grew up with both parents. I have a younger brother and two younger sisters. Grew up in the outside of city limits. We didn't have any running water. It was hard to get there, long travel time. We had to be able to plan accordingly our day to get whatever we needed to get done before we went back home. So that's how I learned how to do real good time management and to get things done and more efficiently. I was a student most of my life, or the beginning part of my life. But once I got to middle school, I began hanging out with the wrong crowd, the wrong people, began hanging around gangs, and fortunately, that came with drugs and all that bad stuff. When I was 13, 14, my parents were going through a rough time. They ended up getting divorced when I was 14. That put me and my other siblings in a real hard spot. It was hard to go through, hard to experience and witness. My dad ended up moving out of the state. He left me as the oldest with a lot to do there around the house. Had to pick up where he left off, do chores, everything that he used to do at the house. That now became my responsibility. But during that time, next year, the following year when I was 15, the girlfriend that I had at the time became pregnant. It was a real shock to me. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I was nervous. I didn't know how to react to it. But at the same time, I was excited. I saw it as an opportunity to change how I was, what I was doing, because at that point in my life, I was going nowhere. Like I said, I was with the wrong crowd. I was going through that kind of stuff at home. It was just in a bad spot for me at that point in my life. So when she told me that she was pregnant, um, kind of blew me out of the water. I knew that I needed to change something in my life, and that right there was it. Um, she gave me an option that I didn't have to be with her if I didn't want to, but I knew that it was a sign from God that yeah, that was the change that I needed in my life. So I stuck with it. Her side of the family didn't agree with it. They kind of kicked her out. They shamed her, all that good stuff. And so I took her in. I took care of her, supported her as much as I could at that time. I mean, I was only 15, 16. So I ended up working two jobs. I take her to appointments, everything I needed to get done for the baby, and while still attending school and still trying to do what I did as extracurricular activities at school, and just trying my best. I knew I wasn't doing anything for myself anymore. 9 months went by real quick, and when I first saw my baby, it was like love at first sight. I knew that it was a feeling I had never felt before. I knew that I needed to be the best version of myself for her, and that everything I did after that point wasn't for me, and it was gonna be for her. Because no matter what I did or what I do now, it has an impact on her one way or another. So I knew that I needed to be the best version of myself for her. And things that I've learned so far um, is that when it comes to your children, you always want to give them the best. You always want a better life for them than what you had. Unfortunately, me and her mom couldn't agree with each other. We were separated. We went our separate ways. She didn't like the fact that I went into the military. She didn't want me to go, but at that time, after high school, no one would hire me. Nobody wanted to hire a 17, 18-year-old. So I went into the military. The only regret I have is leaving my baby behind. I couldn't take her with me, so it was real rough for me. being with her for the first 2.5 years during my high school years, and then having to leave her altogether to go serve my country and do what I had to do to still provide for her. So every chance I get now, I do see her, I give her all my attention and love, and this is something I will always remember. Her impact on my life changed me, flipped me a 100% turnaround. From the bad spot that I was at, hanging out with the wrong people, to now uh, serving in the military, being a police officer, giving the best for her. Um, she changed my life. I have no words to put it in other than that. Yeah, my daughter really turned my life around, and I'm really fortunate, and I will always love her for that. She's my miracle from heaven. So thank you.